All right, welcome to my ADP presentation. This is the project I've been working on all semester, and I'm excited to show it to you today. So, a little bit about me. My name is Jadyn Bennett, and I am a senior with a double major in iDesign and mass communications. I'm from a tiny town in New Hartford, Iowa, which is about 500 people surrounded by cornfields. And I decided to come to college here because I really wanted to express my passions with creativity and design. My goals for this project was I really wanted to make something interactive. I wanted to make something that was something that people could interact with, could use, something that they could do other than just look at it. I also wanted to make something personal. Coming from a really small town, I was used to having a really close-knit community. Coming to a new town, I found it hard to meet people, make new friends, and just know what was going on in the community. So I really wanted to reach people who might be having the same struggles now. Another goal I had was I really wanted to dive into UX design, or user experience design. That was something that I've become really interested in because I liked seeing how people interacted with the stuff I made and like the designs I made, and just seeing how they experienced it. Just showing off my work, I enjoyed people's reactions, and so I just liked the idea of user experience design and making things easier, more accessible, and just making the experience overall just being better. And so, yeah, I made an app. This is my app, Playdate. It is basically a shared calendar between your friends or your followers. It also gives you the opportunity to share photos and just integrate yourself within the community a little bit better. The evolution of the project. I split it between quite a few different phases. The very beginning, it all started with an idea. I called it the Passion Project at the beginning, which it wasn't a very creative name. It's what our side projects used to be called in some of my other design classes, and I kind of just stole it. And it quickly integrated to Playdate, which I'll talk more about that later. My main idea was just how I wanted to integrate people within their community a little bit more. I thought Winona was a very unique place, and I thought it would be interesting to just like make a way for people to integrate themselves more. I also enjoy a lot of different activities like kayaking, canoeing, biking, fishing, skateboarding, hobbies, and stuff like that. At the beginning, I wanted it to be an app where people could just discover new hobbies and just find a way for them to like find things to do in Winona. It became something more like a shared calendar later on, less on the activities, more on the communities, but it still has the integrated aspect of both. From there, I had to research. I have a little background in computer science, but not enough to make an app. I actually work at a advertising company where I talk to their developmental team to ask about, oh, how do I make an app? It's way more complicated than I expected. They said that it was definitely not something that they would do within the allotted time frame, and I agreed. And so I looked at other applications where I could just build the app and then maybe there would be a tool that would integrate it. Something that I stumbled upon was this app called, I think, Bubbly. And I started using it. It was pretty user friendly, but then after about a week of integrating my designs, it told me that it was over $100 to continue my process. Trying to find a new budget-friendly option, I moved on to Adobe XD. Since I use a lot of the Adobe products, I thought this one would be easy to manage, easy to handle, and it was, but it just didn't offer a lot of the animations I was looking for. And so I settled on Figma. I used Figma quite a bit in one of my classes, and so I knew a little bit about it before going in, but definitely not to the capacity that I've moved it on to. From there, I did look at Instagram a lot for inspiration on how to handle social media and how to set up my app and make it more user-friendly and easier to manage. My next step is I developed my wireframe. So my wireframe was how my app would be handled through every step of the way, from the signing on process to selecting a city, to liking a post, to sharing a post, and to basically everything from blocking to posting, everything. That was a extensive task, took quite a bit of time. I had to narrow down exactly what I wanted my app to be able to handle. And then it wasn't just the straightforward things because of the unique things that are in my app, like the shared calendar. There's things that you have to consider, like how do you share that with others? Can you share it specifically to one another? How do you want it to stand out from itself than like the images and the posts and stuff? And then also with the shared activities, not all activities are available in different locations. Sure, I can snowboard here, but I can't snowboard in Iowa. So it's like you have to make things different for each location, basically. And so that kind of made it a little bit difficult with the wireframe. And so I decided to narrow down my location of the app to just Winona. So the idea would be that the app could be launched in different cities and different states and be built based on their location. From there, after making the wireframe, I made my branding. I actually really enjoyed this branding part. It was from choosing the colors, from the logo. I had to do some research on what colors best portrayed on social media apps, and I chose on these dark blues because it was trustworthy and then also a bit adventurous. Like it just reminds people of like the water or the sky, just being outside, maybe integrating themselves with the like community. And I also thought the blue just made it feel more trusting. Like this app isn't gonna like make you meet up with random weirdo strangers. Like you can trust this app to protect your privacy and to protect your peace, pretty much. I also really enjoyed like figuring out my type, how I was going to use that, and then also all of the branding aspects like the logo and assets and just everything between all of that. After I established my branding, I integrated it within my app, and it just made it feel way more professional, way more user-friendly, and it was a lot easier to move between the different slides because you knew where you were going. And then finally, I created my final project. And so I am presenting this working mock-up wireframe of my app Playdate. Also a little bit about the name. I had some help with the name with some classmates. The idea came from the fact that we are just setting up playdates, but as adults. Because basically as a playdate, you are just meeting up with random people, but trusted people, and just hanging out with them, getting to know them a bit. That same idea is conveyed through this app, and you can just meet up with people, just hang out with them, and just have a good time. The logo asset on top, the icon, it is derived from the look of like a location marker, as well as the A inside the counters of my logo. The tagline, I chose that because I thought it helped establish the fact that you are discovering your community. It is an ongoing process. The more you use your app, the more you will discover your community. And that can mean the people in it or the businesses in it as well. I will go over the parts on the inside now. So the sign-up process, it's pretty easy. As you can see, I have it so it is location specific, but there is options to submit a city so you can see one moved there soon. And then you can create your profile and select your interests as well. So that was a challenge, was trying to find a way to make it more location specific because, like I said, not all activities are offered in every location. I also had a way to make it so it is generated by interest. So you have to submit your city in order to see it. And so that way you'd be able to see how many people are interested in seeing it in their city. Because what would be the point of adding this app into a city where people weren't excited for it and didn't really care to see this app integrated into? Next, these are some of the social interactions within it. I really wanted to make it so people could like your photos, but I didn't want people to see who liked it because that's another aspect of the privacy. You don't want to see other random people liking your photos. This is the playdates, and you can see which one of your friends are planning on going. You can also look at your friends' profiles, see their photos, see all their past playdates, and like them. But since it is your friend, you can't see their activity, but only they can. You can also see that she's also planning on going skateboarding, and you can follow and unfollow her. You won't be able to see what she's doing until she accepts you as a follower. You can also message each other, and that's just another aspect I wanted to integrate within the app. Something else I added, which I thought was helpful, was having the businesses be like a dark navy blue, while your friends are a light blue. If you book a friend, you will see that there is user discretion advised because that is an invite from someone that we have not vetted. This is also where you can upload photos and you can add past playdates so you can show other people what you've been doing and what's available in the community. And you can also have your own playdates added, like your birthday party. But again, there's user discretion because you are inviting your whole host of friends or followers, and we can't really vet against that. We can't really say, like, hey, don't go to this because you don't know these people. It is up to your own user discretion. This was a bit of a challenge because I wanted there to be some privacy, but also like you want to be connected as a social media software. And so that was kind of a challenge to figure out where the line was, where you wanted it to be very interactive, but while still concerning your privacy. And then this next part is the business aspect. They can also have their own social media, and they can also post their own photos as well as their own playdates to advertise them. You can message the companies to get more information, and they will show up on your feed if you follow them. I thought this would be helpful for companies to actually promote their own businesses, and they also show up on the calendar as well. It's also beneficial for their own promotional content because they can promote their business. In order to register a business, we will have to look into the business in order to make sure that it is a verified business and not just some person trying to lure people in, like unsuspected people in, I guess. And yeah, so this would just be helpful so they can promote their own businesses within the community and just offer extra activities that people did not know that was available. Like I personally did not know that there was a skateboarding indoor skate arena in Winona. And just that's something I learned while researching this app. So this would be beneficial for the community and businesses alike. And also because of the process and how it's all localized, we want to make sure that all the businesses are legit and that they are all vetted and that you will be safe going to these. And the next is just all the miscellaneous aspects that I added to make it more personal. You have your own calendar where it shows all the things that you have booked and said that you will be engaging with, all on a calendar from the businesses and the personal ones. You can change your interests as they serve you. So when people look at your profile, they can be like, oh, she likes snowboarding. Maybe I should talk to her about snowboarding. Just another way for people to interact with their community. Also within the settings, like you saw earlier, you can see your activity there. And also you can see all your friends and you can remove them and block them, which will be helpful. Same with businesses. You should know which ones are promoting with you and as well as your blocked users. You can change your profile picture, your name, you can change your bio, and and then also this is where you can message people in your community. You can message people, and you can also message businesses alike. You can send playdates to one another just so you can make them know that they're available. And like I said, you can message the businesses themselves to get more information. More within the calendar app. As you can see, the yellow ones here are the ones that you have already previously booked. So you can see that you've already booked this, all the time, the place, location, all there. This dark blue one you have not booked, but as you can see, if you do book it, you can see that you have a user you have blocked is also going to this. So it is up to your own user discretion, but it is still there and you can choose. This one is from a personal friend, and so also there's user discretion again. With the arrows, you can go to multiple different months. Things can be planned out in advance. At the very end of it, you can sign out if you'd like to as well. Some challenges with this is that I just really wanted it to be able to be personalized. Like I wanted people to be able to make their app their own and just make it feel safe, like an area where they can be themselves, participate in activities, and just be able to be out there in a safe environment. This would be helpful for new college students coming in who need a way to just get to know their area better. Or let's say you're a traveler and you're trying to go to a new city and you're trying to figure out things to do. This would be a great app for you to just find your area, find out more about it, and just be able to be a little bit of a local instead of a tourist. And yeah, that is just the rundown of my whole app. And what I learned over this process is app development. There is a lot that goes into it, especially the social media aspect. It's a lot. And I learned how tedious it is to create an app like that on Figma, and how I would rather use any of the web tools like WordPress or Wix, something where it's like they have the user interactions already built in. And so that was really helpful in learning. I also learned a lot about branding, like what's needed. Like you need an overview, you need the mission statement, like what do you need to establish your brand? And everything behind the logo usage and the typography and the color palette. It was a lot to learn, but I did enjoy that process pretty well. And then I did learn a lot about user experience design. I learned that some apps are very hard to navigate and what makes them hard to navigate. I figured out that colors and icons really help people when they learn how to navigate apps and what makes them stand out quite a bit. And I just learned a lot more about the workflow of UX design. ADP as a designer. I learned a lot in ADP as a designer. I learned that time management is key when you're trying to produce something like this. You have to set times to work on this project, especially when you don't have set time in class. We all have our own different projects, and so we all have to have our own time management based on what that project entails. And then I also learned that good branding sticks out. I thought something that really stood out on my project was my branding. I felt like it reflected my app well, and it feels professional. On the right, that was one of my first icons I created, and I'm glad I didn't go with it. It just doesn't really fit the same vibe as what I was going for. I did learn a lot about typography, and I learned that it did help with the branding quite a bit, and having consistent typography just made everything feel more cohesive. Myself, I did learn that I do not like making apps or websites. It just takes a lot of time, and I'm just not super impressed with the outcome half the time. It takes a lot of time, and I don't feel as though you see the benefits from it right away. And it doesn't feel very beneficial overall. I do like how it turned out, but I don't think it's something I would like to pursue. Something else I did learn is that I do like branding. I thought it was fun picking out the colors, finding assets, finding type that fit all together to make one cohesive brand, and then just seeing it all come together to make one final project. I enjoyed that process quite a bit. And then I also learned that I enjoy the physical process of design and being able to see things being visually developed. My process with my project, it was very linear. Like I worked on it throughout the semester, but I feel as though I don't have a final project. Like I do. I have a final developed wireframe of an app, but that's all I got. And so I've realized that when I to feel more what's the word? Proud of my design work, I like it when there is a visual, physical item to display. So like this sweatshirt. If I had made this sweatshirt, I would have been content. And then advice for upcoming students: start early. It'd be helpful to start early and just be able to vet through all of your ideas. Branding is important. It helps make your project stand out, and it makes it feel more cohesive. And find something that supports your desires as like a career. I thought it was helpful learning app development. Not really something I want to do outside of college. It was helpful. I think it'll look good on my portfolio, but it was not the most enjoyable process. I didn't really enjoy spending time on it. I like how it looked at the end, and I had a good experience doing it, but you will have more fun and be more excited to work on it if it's something that would support what you want to do in your future career. Overall, I'm happy with what I have, and I'm very happy with the experience that ADP gave me. Thank you so much, and thank you for listening about Playdate. Thank you.